Dog fans, welcome to Hunker Down. I'm Jeremy York. He's Jake Skinner. We're here to talk all things dogs. And
hmm
my goodness, Jake, it was all thing dogs against Clemson this week.
Wasn't the bloodbath that I expected, but I'll still take a win. It was a typical Kirby Smart. Let's get the season started. Let's don't be
Mhm.
stupid. I was hoping for the Oregon start, not the Clemson start during the title year, but hey, I won't complain.
Yeah, and they stayed true to form and spent the first quarter of the game trying to see if they can get their offensive coordinator fired on Twitter. And they were doing a real good job. Even the establishment I was watching the game at, the UGA fans there, um, besides cheering three-yard check down passes, which I thought was a little weird, they wanted to run that offense coordinator right out of town, and I was like, you guys have got to give it a couple quarters. It's this is the way Georgia plays. They give you nothing at
It's
the beginning,
yeah,
and then by the time they ramp it up, it's over.
yeah. It's the same. I mean, when Georgia had I can't think of his name now, the coordinator before. Um,
Yeah.
uh, yeah, my brain just isn't there tonight. He's with the Ravens now. Todd Munkin.
Monken, that's who it was. Yeah.
The same thing. There was fire Monken chats all over because Georgia starts slow because Kirby does not want to give anybody anything.
Nope.
And, I think Georgia has the most talented roster they've had in years. So yes, you might have some corners who would go for broke from day one, like LSU did. But LSU
Mhm.
also didn't have the defense that Georgia has. So Georgia's not going to put themselves behind the sticks on defense and make
Yeah.
themselves have a dogfight. If they're going to have a dogfight, it's going to be because Georgia's holding back so that they can keep their guys rested. It's a weird way to win, but hey, two out of the last three's kind of proven that it's a good way to win.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go ahead and get into this. I told you I was gonna save this for the show. We learned a lot from this game, and it's not what most people think. What we learned is that if this is the Clemson we're going to see all year, and there's a decent chance of that, they look about as consistent as FSU has been in 2 weeks. Then not only is the ACC wide open, but Tech has a shot at this.
I won't disagree with that. I think Tech, Boston College, I still say
Yeah, yeah.
Syracuse has a shot
Hmm.
because they won. I haven't, let's see, I'm actually pulling them up now because I was dead curious. Yeah, they beat Ohio 30-22. Like I wasn't expecting like I'm a Syracuse fan now because of the coach, because he came from Georgia. They got some good kids from Georgia that transferred up there, some recruits
Hmm.
that Georgia really wanted. I wouldn't say a ton, but like, one or two that Georgia
Yeah.
was interested in. But nonetheless, like it's ACC is going to be wide open this year, and I think it's safe to say what we've been hearing for years is that Clemson actually doesn't know how to develop a quarterback. This it's been proven. Like you got Deshaun Watson, great for a couple years. They just relied on him being who he was, and
Yep.
then their coordinator left, and then he did his own thing, and he's bombed out everywhere he's been since. And everyone you've
Also.
had to replace him can't do anything. Like DJU is a perfect example. He was there for what, two seasons? He got worse every game he played. He got like
I'd
his
argue
first
he's
his
worse
first
now.
game as a starter was against Georgia,
Yeah.
and he threw a pick six, and that team looked horrible. And the rest, and like he had one or two good games. Next year, one or two benched for somebody else that couldn't play, and now Klubnik has taken a massive regression, and it's got to do with the fact that let's just go ahead and say it, Dabo's done. He's cooked. He's like, be glad you didn't get him Alabama like you wanted. You thought you were going to get him because he doesn't involve the transfer portal. He thinks that he can win the old Vince Dooley. Let's just rally around them boys. Vince Dooley proved that was a one-shot title thanks to one magnificent player, and you weren't going to get it again.
Right.
So
Yeah, and Dabo's gonna have to go somewhere. I think not this season, but if this season and next season look like each other, he's gonna be looking for a job elsewhere, and it's
he'll
gonna
he'll
be
have a job. It's going to be on either ESPN or Fox. He will not have
maybe.
that or that. Nope, I got it. He'll be the color commentator for CBS finally. There you go. He'll be the number one guy because by that point maybe Danielson will retire finally. Which, by the way, Georgia fans and SEC fans, it is sad to hear that sound being played during a Ohio State game, the intro, and it's not a 3:30 kickoff. but at the same time, I am glad I don't have to listen to him anymore. Like it used to. I can live with it being somewhere else, so I don't have to listen to him anymore. And it also means more night games for Georgia because that CBS was the main one, and they wanted Georgia or Alabama at that 3:30 slot every week.
Yep. Which I mean, not much wrong with a 3:30 kickoff. It's a pretty good time to be in Athens almost year round. So I mean,
Oh, it is, but you want
that's a
night
good
games. Well,
spot.
night games, the atmosphere. Like you got the lights, you got the fans. Like night games bring everyone out just a little bit more. You get the chance for a blackout, which will never happen again. You get the chance for Georgia to wear white on the road, that will never happen, but it would be great for you recruiting fans who've seen the photos.
Yeah.
Needless to say, like, night games are fun, and I'm looking forward to when we get to those because this was a noon kickoff, so it was a sleepy kickoff, which is one reason why I think Georgia was like, we'll go slow. There's no point in cooking it.
Yeah. Exactly. And like you said, Cade Klubnik, not impressive at all. 18 for 29, 142, which is an average of
Mhm.
4.9 per pass. That's atrocious. No touchdowns and an interception. And the great legendary Phil Maffa, outside of him returning the ball a few times, his 16 carries for 59 yards. Pretty
Yeah.
sure I could do that.
Yeah, 9 yards of carry. To be 9 yards for the longest on him. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's very clear that he was going to be their offense, and they're going to throw it. And Georgia just really kept them off the field for the most part. Like,
They just stood in
it,
front of him and went, nope.
yeah, like it was Georgia ran 60 plays. I mean, they barely ran. They just ran over like what 52? Yeah, 52
Yeah.
plays. 8 play difference. I mean, it's not the biggest thing in the world, but like when you can hold a team to under that many plays in this spread offense era, you're doing something right. And
Yeah.
under 50 yards total rushing,
Yeah.
that's not done
It
every
just,
day of the week. Georgia's
no.
defense might be better than we thought, but we'll see what happens in week 3.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, the good thing is Clemson doesn't have to worry about any kind of Heisman talk because it's over for their entire team. It's after coming out flat like that. uh,
Hmm.
Unfortunately, Clemson fans, and I enjoy Clemson games. I've been up there, went up there once, but it's a great atmosphere. I encourage anybody to go. Death Valley is a really fun place to go, but yeah, you just need to rebound. You're like the race car driver that wrecked in the biggest race, like 5 laps in. You just got to glue your car back together and see how good you can finish at this point.
Yeah, they don't have much. I mean, they've got Georgia held Wesco, who's one of their better receivers, to 5 yards on one catch. And outside of
Hmm.
that, it was Antonio Williams getting open, and he was the only reason. And he's a sophomore. So like Clemson's relying on a lot of young talent, no
Yep,
offensive line, a senior, I think it's a senior running back, and Klubnik
I
to
think
have
so.
made a progression, and no one jumped.
Nope.
And I we've been hearing since spring that the team was cooked, and that tiger's been in the oven roasting on a slow burn all off season.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's bad because college football is better when teams like Clemson are really rolling, and so this is going to kind of hurt the league a little bit until somebody steps in
The,
that spot.
the ACC is going to have a rough year because I mean, looking at it now, in all honesty, your top 3 teams right now are Georgia Tech, Boston College, and then any number of teams within the ACC because that's the only two to play conference games. But I'll make
Yeah,
you laugh. Uh, I'll make you laugh on this one because the two bottom dwellers have both beat Florida State. That on our system on ESPN it literally says the next 2 teams is SMU and California. Welcome to the ACC, boys.
yeah, good for Cal and SMU. They may.
This might be a sneaky year for them to win a title their first year.
It's possible. It's really possible. It's not going to happen in
Mhm.
the SEC. We know that. But
No.
Carson Beck, solid. I actually, you know, half in jest, half not. I said your first quarter MVP was your punter. Forgot his name. Um, what is that kid's name?
That would be Brett the Thunder
Thorson.
from Down Under
Thorson.
Thorson.
Oh, yeah, Thorson.
But the
First quarter. First quarter.
57-yard punt.
Oh yeah, he was crushing the ball.
3 out of the
Uh,
4 were in the 20, and only one of them was a touchback. And that was just a weird bounce on that one, looked like.
Yeah, he didn't get a weird he got a weird bounce on that one. I said that quarter number two, it was Peyton Woodring because
Hmm.
that's what was going on.
With a
And
55-yarder and 4 of 4. Yeah. on the day, like that's what you want to see as a kick. Like it's good to know Georgia's got a kicker who can hit that 55 yarder and it not
Oh
be
yeah,
a knuckler like Rodrigo used to hit because those knucklers they made you tense up in places.
yeah. And then I didn't send it to you guys, but I would say quarter three and quarter four was this relatively unknown guy named Carson Beck
I'd
because
say
he took
third
he
quarter
took
was
it over.
Carson
He wasn't like safe Carson Beck like he normally is. Like he's a usually he's not a game manager, but he's very good at keeping everything on the rails,
in front
everything
of him.
doing great, making plays when he needed to. And then there were times in the third and fourth quarter where he just went, guys, hop on the back. I got this. And he was making ridiculous play after ridiculous play. And I went, if you're gonna make a run at the Heisman, he's starting off strong.
He started off strong, 278, 8.5 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, it's not the greatest start because you'd like to see 300 yards, but I
He
was
didn't
hoping
need
for
it.
four. He didn't need it. Georgia wasn't gunning for it like all the fans are hoping for. I think Georgia realized that they had a cooked chicken in front of them, and they're like, "There's no point in showing off the full thing." Now against Tennessee Tech next week, not to skip ahead, but let's be honest, Georgia can afford to go ahead and be like, "Let's play it safe." But not so safe that we let them around like we've had before. Let's just go ahead. Let's get our business done in the first half. Second half is the backups, Rashada
Mhm.
and everyone like, let's let Carson cook. Let's throw in throw for 350 in the first half. Let's go ahead and run for a buck 50 between ETN and Nate Frazier. And
Yep.
then we'll just rotate backs out the rest of the game. But like that's what you need. That's what would be awesome is to see Carson throw for three over three. I'd love to see four in a game and not have to need the four, but just be like, hey, guess what? Here you go. I'm Joe Shiesty 2.0 here.
I would like to see it against Alabama, Texas, Ole
Oh,
Miss, one of
agreed.
those.
I think I would like to see him, but I'd hate to see him having to throw for 400 to win the game. But if that's what it takes to
Right.
win the game, as a Georgia fan, I trust Carson like I
Yeah.
trusted Stetson. That first
Yeah.
year with Stetson, you were like, okay, maybe we got something. Especially once he came back from that pick in the title game, you believed in him.
Yep.
Carson's proven that he even if he does make a mistake, he's going to own up to it and he's going to go back out and fix it. And what has he done every time? He's gone out and fixed it. So
Yep.
I think they've got themselves a Heisman contender. If not, he will be a top quarterback in the draft because he just has the skills.
He's one of the few sure things on the next level that everybody looks now and they're like, he's got everything that we're going to look for. He's the top rated quarterback. Whether they lose every game, whether they win every game,
Hmm.
scouts aren't worried about that on the next level because national championships doesn't mean anything to an NFL scout. So, but they look and they're like, look, Carson he's the number one. He's the sure thing. There's a couple underneath him that might need a thing or two, and then everybody else is the project.
Yeah, yeah. So it's nice to hear Georgia has that quarterback for the first time since Stafford, and we thought Aaron Murray was going to be that, but I think he just got let down. So
Yeah.
at the
Last
end,
thing
but
about Carson Beck, does he does he has he ever been to Boston?
no.
That's probably where he's going to spend his NFL career. So enjoy your time at UGA because the Patriots are probably going to draft you next year.
But I'd say not it. Well, so they got Mayo. It depends on how Mayo goes and works out, or Drake May, excuse me. I said called him Mayo.
Either way,
Yeah,
he's some kind of sandwich for sure. Um, You mentioned him, Nate
yeah.
Frazier, come out of nowhere. Well, not really out of nowhere. You and a handful of other people have kind of jumped up and down and waved a flag and said this kid's going to be something. He got a couple times to. I think they were doing that rotation like you were saying, and then he just started exploding, and he was just
Yeah.
electric. And they went, let's just keep giving it to him and see what he's going to do.
Oh yeah. And see, like the line struggled the first half to really open up holes. I don't know if that was
Yeah,
Clemson's defensive line I think they were selling out for the
I think
run.
so.
And Georgia was like trying to they were trying to oh. Sorry, side note for Braves fans. Chris Sale became the first Braves left-handed pitcher to reach 200 Ks in a season. Not even Tom Glavine did that, so congrats to the Braves.
I was thinking that. I was like, I don't think Glavine ever hit 200.
No. He was too busy on his side career as a hockey coach. But but nonetheless, like we Nate just that first half, like I wish I could rewatch that. I need to go back and rewatch it. Just holes weren't open. Their guys were in the backfield, and even if we did, Branson might be healthy and ready to rock, but I'm just not sold. Like I was hoping he would be something better. Maybe he
Yeah.
will be. Maybe Clemson was just selling out more so, but we need to see more Thunder. in our running game right now because we don't have a
Yeah.
Thunder back without either Robinson playing right.
Right.
Um, it's going to be a lightning show literally next weekend because you've got Nate Frazier and Trevor Etienne, and Etienne is gonna he's a spitfire. He did some good stuff at Florida, so I think him and Frazier 1-2 punch. Like Carson's got so many weapons that teams are going to be scared once those two figure it out, and we can start blocking and opening those holes.
Yeah. Definitely so, because not only does Etienne have that older brother that he's trying to get out of the shadow of, which I think they're separate people. But he's like, hey, I missed the first game and the third string freshman put on a show. I need to make sure that I stay on the field more than he does, so I've got to put on a show.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. That's going to happen. Um, it's going to be fun to watch because I mean, even if Branson's not healthy, like, and he is, like he was only 7 of 12, which is not great. Long run of 6. He just kept hitting a wall every time they ran him.
He did.
That's why they kept giving it to Nate because Frazier, his long run of 40, but you take away that one run for 40, he averaged 4.3 yards per carry
Mhm.
and 10 carries. That's easy to bump up to 5, 6. You get 20 carries a game with someone like that. Very clearly, he's going to end up running for a buck 60 on you.
Yeah.
Georgia hasn't had a back like that in a couple of years. He is like a DeAndre Swift, like they mentioned in the game. We haven't had anyone in that room that talented since him that plays that role.
No.
And him and Etienne, it ought to be fun to watch.
It definitely should. Let's shift over to the defense. I think the theme of this game too was the Dabo respect, and that Kirby has a lot of respect for Dabo
Yeah.
as far as being a quality coach and a good guy, and so
Nah,
that's
there's
why I
no
think.
respect. I'm sorry. No, if I say you can sugarcoat it, and I'll sit here and nod my head going, yeah, yeah, no, because Kirby hates Dabo because Dabo tried to get him in trouble a couple of years back for stuff that was not
Oh
even
yeah,
real. He tried to
I
he tried
remember
to
that.
pull some stuff, and all of a sudden, so Kirby, I think he took him to the woodshed, but he wasn't trying to beat someone down like that. But he wanted to show
Right.
that I can just outman you wherever I need to outman you. And Georgia's defense did exactly that. For 4 quarters, they played really solid football. And Jalen Walker, they said line him up on anywhere on the field and just let him hunt. He got 1.5 sacks. He split one with
Hmm.
another linebacker, Raylan Wilson, and he was all over the field. And it was fun to
Yep.
watch because he is fast.
Oh, he was. He reminds me of Micah Parsons, where you literally can put him anywhere on the field, and
Mhm.
he's probably going to hit the quarterback.
No, that's Georgia. That's where they've struggled. They don't know where to put him because he can go anywhere they need him to. They don't. They're like, what do we do with this kid? So they're trying to develop that position. Like, look, if you don't have a role, even in high school, okay, fine, let's just line you up. And if you can learn how to pass blitz, the NFL is looking for someone. Like they're okay if you can't always run fit, if you can't do that, because if
Right.
9 times out of 10 they can move you around to hide your deficiency because you've got so many other
Yep.
good players, you can hide it enough and then blitz the quarterback on the play you need to. You got it. You're a first round pick, maybe second rounder. You can get what you need to get done.
Oh yeah.
Parsons is an all arounder, so yeah, he's going to get that role. But like Jalen may not be an all arounder yet, but he puts up a sack a game. By the end of the year, people look and go, we need him on an NFL roster right now. Doesn't matter where he
Oh,
lines
absolutely.
up. Put his hand in the dirt,
Absolutely.
let him just come flying. Line him up at safety if you have to, and let him come flying like a Palomalu. Not that he can
I
jump
think
like Palomalu, but I'm just saying like
he'll
let
just
him
run
hunt.
through it.
Yeah, because
But yeah, I mean,
Jalen's 6'2", 245, and he runs
that's
a
not bad.
4.3, 4.40.
That's linebacker. That's built like a linebacker. So I'd find somewhere in the middle of the field for him then.
That's a built like a linebacker, but he's got that safety speed for sure.
Yeah. And the usual suspects had good days too. Mondon Jr., Malachi Starks. A
Chaz
lot of the
Chambliss
people.
had 2 tackles.
He did. I was just getting to him. I was like, "Where's our buddy Chaz?" And there he is. Look at that. Gets 2 tackles on the board against Clemson. Looks good on the resume.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like I said, overall, like no one really stands out. I mean, Michael had a good game until he got hurt. That
Hmm.
ridiculous one. Malachi Starks, who 2 tackles and that amazing pick that he had, like he did 2 years ago against Oregon.
Oh
Like
yeah.
that was unreal what he went up and did in that game. So that was a heck of an interception because I thought that for sure that was going to be a catch for a second. So yeah, there's no denying talents everywhere. Defense is fast. They were bullying. just let them basically just have to let them free at this point.
All right, I think we both said for this game that we thought it would be a little bit on the closer side. I think we both said that
You said
the
close. I said 45-10.
did you maybe?
Yeah, I was 11 and 7 off, which I'm okay with that.
Well, I was about to say if you nailed that, then I nailed saying take the under because the 37 total points with 34 of those on one side, that's definitely under 49 and a half.
Sure.
They said almost 80,000 people were there. That's Atlanta United type numbers in this building here. So
I know it
that's
is, and that's with home field advantage. That's why Kirby said this is our second home.
oh yeah, they've outside of when they play Alabama, they've won more in this stadium than the pro team, I believe.
hmm I'm not shocked by that either.
And that's a little playful jest, but it's I mean they've won at least 4 or 5 times that I can think of.
hmm
Seems like.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Like they love playing the Benz. Yeah, it is. You can try to sell tickets how you want to, but Georgia fans are going to end up with their hands on those tickets, even on the away side. It's not going to change. They did the
No.
same thing when they play Tech, even at
Yep.
Tech. They are going to do that. Georgia fans travel, and it's been known for that for years that Georgia fans always traveled. But once Kirby took over, that first year, Georgia really started traveling, like really started because they believed in Kirby.
They're
Like
becoming
the
a
first,
national brand.
yeah, they've submitted themselves, especially going out west to go
Yeah,
recruit. They've proven like getting the guys we got now. Everyone knows who Georgia is. That G has been never been more popular, and players left and right are looking for it.
absolutely. All right, you mentioned it, so now we get to talk about this game coming up, Tennessee Tech. Weird kickoff that Georgia State, when I used to cover them, used to have these weird 2 o'clock kickoffs. It's just weird because you're at the tail end of everybody finishing from the 12
hmm
o'clock window, and then like an hour after you start, here comes the 3 o'clocker. So you're just in this weird window, and it doesn't. I don't know why you get these, but SEC Network and ESPN Plus, 2 p.m. This is going to be at home, so they're going to be playing. Wait, there, they're going to be playing there. And do I even bother with the number? What does the numbers say? I'm not seeing
Uh,
an over under. They probably didn't set one, which is probably smart.
Probably.
But
Yeah, I'm
but I
looking here.
but I got to give
Uh,
it to them because Tennessee Tech actually had a good opening weekend. They lost, but like their quarterback was 27 for 38, 256 and 3 touchdowns. That's a pretty solid day. I didn't see an interception in there. Uh Leading receiver 7 catches, 61 yards. That's about what you want in college.
yeah,
Apparently their run game needed a little bit of help. 11 carries, 52 yards for their leading rusher at the moment.
yeah. I mean,
But
they were in the lead up until
yeah,
16 seconds. Like they had the game. So
who did they lose to?
that was Middle Tennessee.
Okay, that's a tough interstate thing. That's not defending it, and that's not
I
trying to
mean,
make them look bigger than they
if you
are.
look at it too, like they didn't have the possession, but they did have more total yards, one more first down. Yeah, their quarterback. I wonder if their starting quarterback may have went down with an injury because it looks like their backup had to come in and play at one point, and he threw an interception.
Okay, yeah,
That looks
Potts,
like
I
the
believe is
case.
there.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely looks like a big game like this against a team like that, they're going to throw the ball. They know how to get the ball to their guys because clearly they were not afraid to throw the ball to anyone and everyone. Pretty sure if you're a fan, if you ran on the field and they saw you in purple, they were going to throw to you and you're going to get a first down. Um, I mean, they didn't look horrible. I mean, they're playing against Middle Tennessee State. You expect them to lose, but they didn't lose gracefully and just lay there. They fought. So
Yeah,
they'll give Georgia a battle for a couple of for maybe a quarter. Georgia depends on how Georgia wants to come out. And if I can imagine, I'm pretty sure Kirby will want them to come out early and go ahead and score on the first few drives and play that simple defense, not show anything. Nothing special in the blitz packages. No special plays. I'd like to see some more pop passes again.
yeah,
I will tell you, go back to the offense real quick. I want to see a pop pass to my like for real, my surprise like guy like London Humphreys, the transfer out of Vanderbilt. That white boy can run. I knew he was fast because he was at Vanderbilt. He was the only guy last year that even did damage to Georgia at Vandy. Like that's one reason why we went after him in the transfer portal. But that touchdown catch that he made, he grabs the ball, runs, and then spins into a hit to spin into the end zone. He's smart, but he's lightning fast. I think he was their leading receiver at the end of the game. Needless to say,
So
I think London could be a good player for us.
yeah, I definitely think so. Was it Vandy that come back and won in the end?
Yes, Vandy won in
It
overtime.
was. Yeah, over Virginia Tech, right?
Yeah, Virginia Tech.
They had a big lead. Virginia Tech got back in it. This thing goes to overtime. Vanderbilt gets the
Oh
win. I
yeah,
mean that.
I was watching the ESPN app, and at that point in time, I'd see a score change. I was going, "Oh, there's the Vandy we know." And then they win, and I'm like, "That ain't the Vandy I know."
No,
Now,
no, this is different.
no, it's different, and I'd be scared. I'd be scared if I'm Texas because that's been the joke for over a year. It's like, wait, like, yeah, you think you might beat Georgia, you might, I don't think it'll happen, but you might beat Georgia, you might beat some of these other teams, but
Do they
you're gonna
play?
go play Vandy. They play the week after Georgia. They play Vandy. You talk about a sneaky game. That's gonna be a sneaky game because we
Oh,
all
they
know
don't know. They
Vandy
don't know
will
when
wreck
it's going to
someone's season.
start yet. It's either going to be 3:30, somewhere between 3:30 to 4:30. They don't know yet.
God, give that the 3:30 clock that day because I'm telling you right now, everyone in the SEC knows that sometimes Vandy will mess with you, especially in the old Eastern one.
Oh
I don't know
yeah,
about, but Vandy would somehow show up, and if they didn't beat you, they made you sweat it out for 3.5 quarters. Because I remember Jay Cutler making Georgia sweat back in the day.
there's also a flex time on that Georgia Texas game at the moment. It's either 3:30 to 4:30 or it's the 6 to 8. It's got to be the 6 to 8. That's
If
got to
both teams are undefeated, it'll be the 6-8. And like I said a while back, like I don't think Tech. I'm not knocking Texas, but
Texas
Texas looked
might
good, but
be.
they might be. But there's too many teams put up 70 points in week one against cupcakes. Georgia, I would love to see Georgia go throw 70 down on Tennessee Tech just to show, hey, y'all did it week one. We did it week two after we showed everyone what we can do to Clemson. So if that's what we can do to them and we can do this to them, good luck playing us. Like
Texas has
set
got a test this week, and then they've got one right before Georgia. Other than that, they should win.
Yeah, let's see. I'm pulling up Texas's schedule now.
They got Michigan this week. Uh, UTSA, I watched them play Kennesaw. I watched Kennesaw put up a fight against them. UTSA might win that conference over there. They
Yeah.
are really, really good. They've got forgot his name, the quarterback, McCown. He's one of the McCown's kids. He's good.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. And I mean, we gotta talk about it for a second. But the state of Florida runs through Miami, as all the Cubans would tell you, because it
Well,
does not run through Gainesville and it does not run through Tallahassee anymore.
no, those two places need to sit down. They can't even speak right now.
Florida will be looking for a new coach by the end of the year. Billy is not going to be a. He has not recruited an offensive line, a defensive line. He just goes after skill players and hopes of a miracle.
And it works in Louisiana, but it doesn't work at a big SEC school
No,
like Florida.
it does not work. And FSU, this is what happens when your coach does nothing but complain and whine about games, kind of like Ohio
Hmm.
State's coach does. And also doesn't he goes out and recruits and he does it just to spit in the faces of other coaches like he's tried to do with Georgia and others. And then he goes
Yep,
out and headhunts and goes and gets a bunch of mercenaries to come play and no one's
yep.
cohesive.
Ask Dion
Because
about that.
yeah, Dion that's what he's got with him and it's not going
Yep.
to last much. It's going to last for a couple of years because he's got the money and they can't afford to fire him unless something
But
stupid
but
happens.
when they continue to miss bowl games or barely get into bowl games,
Yeah.
people are going to stop going to Colorado.
If I say I watched that Colorado game and I was not impressed with what I saw by them. Now I'll openly admit I'll pull for anyone who plays Colorado. I've always liked Dion. I still like Dion.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I still like Prime, but I don't like his bully ball tactics I don't like his coaching style. His coaching style is I'm going to bully you into submission and you're going to do what I tell you to do. These are humans. Like as a coach, you got to be tough and loving. Like and he does some good things for them, but there's a difference on how he handles his business sometimes.
All right.
So,
So what are we thinking for this game this week?
so
We got
yeah, I see the
we
time.
got like 2.5 minutes left. Yeah.
Uh, I'm just gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say Georgia throws down 56, gives up a touchdown late in the game, maybe a field goal late in the game. But if just because they always do against these kinds of teams, but maybe this is a different team than I'm used to seeing. Maybe that defense is just not 2021 defense, but they're reminiscent. Adjacent is the word. They're adjacent to 21, in which case they won't.
I'm gonna say 42-14, 42-17. I'm gonna give Tennessee Tech, like you said, it's either a garbage time or they just luck up into a pick or a tip pass or a fumble, something weird, and they'll get one that way. But yeah,
Yeah.
and they're good for a field goal. So, but yeah, Georgia, just keep doing what you're doing. There's a real good shot. You should roll this one, and as long as you don't get ahead of yourself, you should be looking
Georgia
pretty.
should they should be rolling undefeated into the Bama Texas weeks, and they honestly should be undefeated. They have a good shot to go really to end up 12-0 before the championship game.
Yeah,
Like they've proven that
definitely
already.
so. Any parting words or anything?
Nothing from me. I haven't heard anything outside of the town. I was on the road all morning before work, so
You
uh,
were doing some digging on Tennessee Tech. You were doing a good job up there.
yeah, I'm pretty sure whoever Tennessee played, which was Chattanooga, I'm pretty sure I saw their buses on Saturday driving by me the other way as I was going up to Gatlinburg.
They
So
should have stayed home.
they should have.
And in fact,
They
the way
should
the
have.
game looked, it looked like they did.
Yeah, they left. They took some. They only took like the backups with them. Save everyone else for the rest of the season. But no, that's it from me, man. Hopefully this will be a good game, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely so. But dog fans, appreciate you guys tuning in each and every week to hunker down. As we do enjoy doing this show, we'll at some point we won't do a watch along. We'll do a tweet along or something where we both get a chance to watch the game and we'll comment along with people, see if people like to do that. But other than that, he's Jake Skinner. I'm Jeremy York. This has been Hunker Down. We will see you guys next week. Deuces, gooses, go dogs.